Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado, and this is my buddy Puccini who keeps me company in the craft room. And we have a very fun card for you today. It's a different kind of way to put a card together that I've seen all over the internet. I'm trying to think. I don't know that I can give any one person specific credit for this because I've seen it kind of all over. And the last one I saw do it was Frenchie and Frenchie's videos. And but I've seen it done by lots of other people. So let's just get started. This is my card, and it's just so cute. And this is what it looks like on the inside. I made mine a happy birthday. And part of this is reaching back in your stash a little bit. But I'm using a Sweet Sorbet is what it's called. And this is what you need to make the card. It's so easy that if you, one of the people that I saw do this, another person I saw do these was Karen Titus from Back a Ways, and what she used was a stack of 6x6 papers, and she cut out, I think it was 5 cards, maybe 5 cards, and she ended up making 6 by cutting this out as a one-sheet wonder for a 6x6 card. And I can show you, I think, what she did with that. And I am using this pretty paper from the Country, what's it called? Country Floral Suite. Yes, Country Floral Lane. And let's see. So I have a piece, I have a Sweet Sorbet base. And this base is the same as it would ordinarily be, A2, 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Now on this one, what we did was we cut from the score line in at 1 1/4 inches, and we have, so this piece is what's left. Then we have a piece of designer series paper from this paper, and I'll show you how to cut the 6x6. I think they're just darling. And then you have 2 strips that are 1 inch. There they are, 1 inch by 5 1/4. You need enough scrap white. This is reaching back in your stash a little bit. This is from the Painted Labels, part of the old Poppy suite. So Painted Labels here, and I made mine a happy birthday. You could make it be anything you wanted, but it was so bright and cheery, I went ahead and did this ahead of time. So you need a piece of scrap of white big enough to cut out this label. Then we need a piece for the inside that is 4 by 5 1/4 to go on the inside of our card. This is so simple. I think this happy birthday also comes from the peaceful moments that went with this, and so I used the happy birthday from there. It's got sympathy, thank you. I like the size of this happy birthday because it fit perfectly in this circle. So those are the pieces that you need. This is 4 by 5 1/4, 2 strips 1 inch by 5 1/4. The base cut, so I cut inside 1 1/4 inches and cut that piece off, and that is a piece that I can use for some other project for later. All right, then out of this paper I also used my heart punch, this little heart punch that came with that set, Country Bouquet punch, and I cut a bunch of these hearts and leaves in here, and you can see it's a way to use designer series paper so that you're using both sides of the same piece of designer series paper. And then at the end I will cut a piece of this down so you can see what it takes to do the 6x6 thing, and I will post something on my blog so that maybe you can download a PDF or something that will allow you to cut that. All right, so these are the pieces that we need, and it is so simple. Once you have those pieces cut, we are going to put some glue on the back of this white panel and put it in place on the card. There we go. All right, so there is my piece inside. Then we are going to take one of these strips, and we're going to take the one that matches the one on the front, so that when you open it, you're seeing the back part of this panel and the front piece of this panel. So I'm going to take this little strip here, and I'm going to add some dot runner to the back of this one. And I'm going to put that in place right here on the inside, and I'm going to take it right to the edge of the white paper. That piece is done on the inside, and then what we're going to do is take this piece of paper and we're going to fit it right here so that it's going to go over this piece on the inside, so we won't be able to see it. So what we're going to do is add a bead of glue, and I'm going to use my seal, right along this edge. Right along this edge. And then I'm going to add some seal on the outer edge of this piece all the way, and I'm going to stop a little bit here at the bottom, and I didn't stop, I started it too far up on the top, because we've got to remember that this piece is only 4 by 5 1/4, so it will fit over this piece, and if I put glue on this edge all the way to the top and bottom, it'll seal my card shut, and that's not what I want. So once I get this piece on here, and it is right where I want it, I've got my glue on, I'm just going to close this piece over the top, and there, now you can see, I can see the inside of my card there, and I can see both sides of my piece of paper. So those papers that you have from time to time where you love both sides so much and you hate to even cut it, this is a perfect way to use that kind of thing. So on this outside piece, I'm going to turn this piece around the other way and put it on this edge. So I'm going to add some dot runner to this one to show the other piece of paper, the other side on the front. And so I'm going to line that up with this piece over here so that I have top and bottom matching. And there we go. This is such an easy card to do. It's not even funny. So I cut out a bunch of hearts, and I cut out this piece here. I've got my stamp that says the happy birthday from the Peaceful Moments, and I have my Sweet Sorbet ink, and so I'm going to stamp this, and I'm going to tap that into the Sweet Sorbet all over my ink pad. We stamp so much in the middle, they get drier in the middle, and then all your ink is along the edge, and it's a good idea to remember to tap all the way around. And I am going to clean up this edge just a little bit, just because I had a little trouble with edges earlier with this one. I may have to do my surgery on this one and take off some of this rubber, because it seems to want to catch the ink. And put my happy birthday right in the middle of my circle here. And there we go. Got my happy birthday there. I'm happy with that. And so all we need to do is add a couple of dimensionals and put that on the card. Now on this one, I kind of put it up a little bit, maybe higher than I wanted. So I'm going to move this one down just a little bit, but still over to this side a little bit. This stripe is pretty intense, and so breaking it up any way I can is a good idea. Then I also have this heart, which I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals to, and we'll put that in place right down here on the card, again breaking up this pattern a little bit. And then I had one of these small hearts that comes out of here. So this is the large heart, and then this one is the small heart, and this one has leaves already all over it. So I'm going to put one dimensional on the back of this heart and put that into place right along the edge of my message here, just like that. And then to break this up, because that's pretty intense stripe, what I did was I put one of these hearts and I put it flat on the inside. Boy, dimensional backs, don't they just get everywhere? And I laid this one down, as you can see, right in here on this side of the card. And then I cut out some of the lighter leaves, but I thought I'd go with the darker ones on this particular one. And so I'm going to add a couple of these leaves, like this heart was a flower, right down here. This one had more of that color showing, and as did in the front, and this one has more of the darker green leaves, so I thought these might look a little bit better. And so I'm going to add those right here, and there we go. That is the project. How simple was that? And I cut, as I always do, a few extra everythings, just so that I have lots of choices for what I'm doing. But I don't need those for this card, and this one is done. So there is my project. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube studio today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator, or you could join my team. Always a good idea to join Stampin' Up! When you join right now, it's $125 worth of product for a starter kit that costs $99, and then you start out with a 20% discount. So that is the card. Now, I didn't put any bling on it, but I think I would, and perhaps just some rhinestones, and I have some nice big ones here. So maybe I'll add a couple of rhinestones to my project, maybe one right up here, and one right up here, and maybe just another one someplace else down here. So we'll put 3 on. How's that? And I just happen to have this sleeve with a whole bunch of the big ones, so we'll just use those. And so we'll put one down here and one over here, and that project is finished. There we go. Isn't that just the prettiest little card? And look how fast that was. It didn't take very many minutes at all. And so, and it's a lovely way to use some of that beautiful designer series paper that you have. Now, I want to show you how people are cutting this piece, when you have a piece of 6 by 6. So I'm going to grab, well, that is a piece of 6 by 6, but that's for another project. So I'm going to take this, and I am going to cut this at 6 inches. And cut this way to get to 6 by 6. And this is directional paper, so you have to be a little bit careful about how you're cutting this. So what you need is a piece that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut my 5 1/4 here so that I end up with a little piece along the bottom. And so I've got that piece there. Then I'm going to cut this at 4 inches. And I end up with this 2-inch piece that I am going to cut down to 1 inch. So a 6 by 6 sheet will make one of these cards, because there's the 2 pieces, the 3 pieces that I need with my base. There's my strip for the outside and my strip for the inside. So you can see how we're cutting this. Now, what you have left when you're done is this, which is 3/4 of an inch by 6 inches. And what I've seen people doing is they cut this down to 4 inches if they're going to make a card that's more diagonal across the front of a piece of card. Let me grab a little piece of card so I can show you. So if you cut 5 pieces of the 6 by 6 to do your cards like this, you'll end up with 5 of these strips. And what I've seen people doing is putting these strips on a 4 by 5 1/4 piece all the way down the card. And if it's not directional, maybe even flipping some of them over to the other side and putting them on here. So you'd want to cut this piece down to 5 inches, and then they had a couple pieces left over, and they made a card by putting all of those down, and then by putting this same piece right on the top of it and using the decorations. And then on the inside, what they did was they took this piece and cut it into a couple of squares. And if this were the inside of your card, they put them along the bottom here in these squares back and forth this way, just to add some decoration, or down the side. And if you cut 5 of these, you'll end up with 5 of these strips. And you could put this on the card this way as well, and put 5 of them across and put a message on them, and it would give you 6 cards. And so that's what I've seen people doing, and I think it's pretty clever, because we get a lot of paper that's 6 by 6 with some very interesting backsides. So that is that one, and now I've got enough to make another card. So here we go. There is the, I don't know which is which now, which was the original and which is the one I did today. I think this is the one I did today. But that is how they're cutting them to get more out of the 6 by 6 pieces. Thanks again for stopping by, and let's see. The other thing is I have a prize draw monthly, and you get yourself in the drawing by placing an order on my store of any size, lbedinger.stampinup.net, and you can get to it through my blog, www.ingenuity.com. Thanks again for stopping by, and I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!